Here's what's in the news now.
Some Johnson County homeowners right now are once again trying to fix their mailboxes.
Yeah, they're telling us this happens every time the road gets plowed from all the snow. Marina Silva went to that neighborhood in Greenwood today to hear their concerns.
Neighbors living on Peterman Road are no strangers to their mailboxes coming down.
It does happen multiple times.
Lynn Grimm has lived on that road for 10 years. This is her second mailbox.
We've also just put up a very makeshift one since the last time it got hit.
Neighbors say whenever they get enough snow that plows come through, the mailboxes go down.
I think we know when it snows it's going to get hit. That one's been bent a couple times, so we've just bent it back up.
She says some people put in heavy mailboxes, but it doesn't always work.
The cost of that is quite a bit. So, and it's hard to put on a busy road because you're right there on the road to try to work on something.
It's been a few days, so most of the mailboxes have been put back up, but neighbors tell me it can be costly.
Every time it's probably 100 or more, at least, yeah. You know, because you got to put the pole in and cement it and try to get it to stay up.
Johnson County Highway Department says it has received 26 reports of damaged mailboxes. You can submit a claim to them, but they're only going to consider it if the damage is from, quote, direct physical contact with the county's snow plowing trucks or equipment, end quote. The Highway Department also told us payment is by reimbursement, meaning you as a homeowner need to foot the bill before you potentially got any money back. For now, neighbors say they'll have to keep repairing their mailboxes until the next snowfall. In Johnson County, Marina Silva, 13 News.
Now, you do need to submit receipts and photos of the damage when you do fill out a claim. We've got all that information on how you can do it on WTHR.com.
And we are getting an up-close look today at just how dangerous the ice can be.
Especially on lakes, rivers, ponds, any kind of body of water. Looks can be deceiving. Our Anna Chalker shows us how to stay safe.
While it may look peaceful around this pond, there's a looming danger if someone gets too close.
Our ponds that exist throughout our neighborhoods don't freeze real well.
And one step could turn into an emergency in seconds.
Ice is definitely weaker in the center, so it's a lot, you could walk out there and just fall right through, and that's when we'll have to come out and get you.
Every winter, emergency crews in central Indiana respond to a handful of ice rescues. That's why departments like Bargersville Fire prepare months in advance.
So we're always ready to respond and get out the door as quick as we can, because we know time is a factor when somebody's fallen into these cold waters.
When the call comes in, it's all hands on deck. As one firefighter grabs the person out of the water, the rest of the team pulls them both off of the ice. Once the person is safe, crews work quickly to get them warm.
Hypothermia is starting to set in, and we know that the conditions for that individual internally are going down the hill really quick.
Let's say you're walking by a pond just like this one. I can see directly through the ice, and from up here it looks thick enough for me to stand on it. But the Bargersville Fire Department says you can never judge the thickness of ice just by looking at it, so their best advice is to just stay a safe distance away from it so you have a low risk of falling through. If you accidentally go through,
hold on to the edge, kick your feet, try to get yourself out and displace your weight across the ice.
And if you see someone fall, throw them something that can float and call 911. But emergency crews say it's best to wait a couple of months for the ice to melt before hanging around ponds. In Bargersville, Anna Chalker, 13 News.
Such an important reminder there. Bargersville firefighters tell us they also respond to a lot of pets falling through the ice around this time of year too.
So they say if that happens, do not chase after your pet. You should rush to call 911.
And a reminder, you can track these colder temperatures and tomorrow's snow by downloading our WTHR weather app. It gives you the interactive radar, hour-by-hour forecast, and you can pinpoint all of that down to the neighborhood where you live. You can also check out the weather blog. It's a free download in your phone's app store. And we also know a lot of Hoosiers are being impacted by these fires, some losing their homes, others evacuating, and of course many jumping in to help.
Yeah, and tonight our Lauren Kostick joins us in studio after speaking to several of those Hoosiers today. Lauren, what are they saying? Clearly this is just a tough time.
It's so tough. You know, Dustin and Felicia, just those images and videos coming out of LA County right now are just devastating. And for those living nearby, they tell me it's even harder to watch right now. But tonight, a little glimmer of hope as Hoosier help is on the way.
Unimaginable loss as multiple wildfires rip through parts of Los Angeles County at frightening speeds. Smoke and flames forcing hundreds of thousands to evacuate. Others on standby, including Muncie native Christy Kuzma.
So it's literally people losing everything, and it's so sad.
Thankfully, she lives in Orange County, far from the flames, but knows things can change any second.
It was contained a little bit more a few days ago, and now it feels like it's spreading more and more and more. So it's like, I mean, it could hit us anytime. We don't know.
At the same time, Red Cross teams are mobilizing, including in central Indiana.
People need help, and that's what I'm here for.
Maria Karskigo spoke to 13 News minutes before boarding her flight to LA.
There's a lot of people in shelters right now that need support. They just need a caring hand to be there for them, and that's the intention for the next few weeks.
And she's not alone. Indianapolis-based company BioSweep is also heading out. The team will handle fire restoration efforts, focusing not on what's gone, but what now remains.
When they will allow us to go in, then we want to be ready to go in day one so that we can really help get these people back into their homes.
A mission that's personal for Todd Schnitzius after losing his home to the Malibu fires in the 80s.
It's challenging work, but we feel like we're doing something good for the folks that where their homes did survive.
Hoosier Help, giving a lifeline to those who need it most.
And right now, officials are calling the Palisades fire one of the most destructive fires in LA history. And at last check, none of it has been contained yet. So Destin and Felicia, just a really scary situation going on right now in such a beloved area that, you know, a lot of us have been to.
And you said it, unimaginable loss. Just cannot imagine what they're going through. Lauren, thank you.
And tonight, Hoosier lawmakers are wrapping up their first day back at the State House.
That's right. They returned to the state capitol today for the start of this year's legislative session. Our State House reporter, Emily Longnecker, returned to the State House with them today.
She joins us live tonight with a look at what lawmakers on both sides want to tackle. Emily?
Well, hi, ladies. You know, during the election, we heard a lot about how high property taxes had become a burden for so many Hoosiers. So it is no surprise that that was a big topic here on day one for both Republicans and Democrats. This is also a budget year. So education and Medicaid funding, the two areas where the state spends the most money, were also top of mind. Senate Republicans said they plan to treat their main property tax bill, Senate Bill 1, the same way they treat the bill outlining the state's new budget, meaning it's a priority. During his campaign, Governor-elect Mike Braun said he'd like to lower property tax rates back down to what they were in 2021. Senate Republicans say they'll start there, but say SB 1 is a work in progress. Property taxes fund local services like police, fire, and schools. That's something Senate Republicans say needs to be considered before deciding what needs to change.
We are committed to providing property tax relief to Hoosiers, but we've also got to balance the funding needs for schools and local units of governments like counties, cities, towns, and townships.
Senate Republicans also have a bill to cap the number of Hoosiers who receive Medicaid under the state's Healthy Indiana program at 500,000. Right now, there are more than 700,000 Hoosier adults with no kids on the program. Any cap would lead to a waiting list. House Democrats also laid out their priorities called the Working Hoosiers Agenda. Democratic lawmakers say they also plan to address high property taxes along with the cost of health care and rising utility rates. When it comes to education funding this budget session, Democrats say they'll be calling for more state money to fund public schools to take the pressure off property tax revenues and homeowners to do that.
Our public schools are the lifeblood of our communities, and we need to treat them as such with responsible investment. We can take the pressure off property taxes and increase state funding to public schools.
In the budget session 2 years ago, Republicans increased voucher eligibility for families that wanted to send their kids to charters and private schools, a move Democrats continue to be critical of.
Those dollars, those extra dollars that will go now to send private kids, private schools, wealthy family students to the schools they're already going to on the public dime, could instead be spent on pre-K for all.
So how much Indiana spends on public education, sure to be a big topic this session, especially when you consider a bill that was filed last week, House Bill 1136, that basically calls for the state to take over school districts, including IPS, school districts that are losing students in their districts to charter and private schools. And coming up tonight at 6, we'll tell you what lawmakers on both sides of the aisle said about that bill. Ann, Felicia?
Well, a heads up tonight for any families who use PowerSchool to keep up with their kids' grades and attendance at school.
The company recently experienced a cyber attack, and now that is impacting thousands of school corporations all across the country and is putting students' personal information at risk. And now here in central Indiana, our local schools are getting the word out about possible impact to parents.
So far, we have learned data from Brownsburg Community Schools and Noblesville schools were compromised, and we have also reached out to PowerSchool asking if any other Indiana schools were impacted, but they told us they do not have any regional specifics to share at this time.
If you want to learn more about the breach, the information at risk is as well as how the state of Indiana is responding, you can head to our website right now.
WTHR.com.
Now to those chilling new details about a woman's death here in Indianapolis. Police tonight telling us she was beaten, stabbed, and suffocated by her on-again, off-again boyfriend at an apartment complex on the south side of Indianapolis. That's where our Chase Howell went today after talking with a domestic violence advocate. So Chase, the boyfriend has now been charged with murder?
That's right. Police believe he beat and stabbed Shania McDonald to death inside her apartment in this building behind me. And I also learned the 22-year-old has been charged with feticide for allegedly killing their unborn child. Neighbors say screams for help could be heard coming from this apartment. Inside, police say they found Shania McDonald's body, bloodied and with tape wrapped around her face. The next day, and about 6 miles away, IMPD along with SWAT arrested McDonald's boyfriend Regulus Baca at this apartment complex in Greenwood. Court documents say he told investigators that he punched McDonald in the face, hit her 4 times with a space heater, stabbed her, and wrapped tape around her face to suffocate her. And at one point, he allegedly told police he just wanted her dead.
We will likely be over 100 domestic violence related homicides or fatalities for the calendar year 2024.
Karen Burton tracks the number of homicides that are caused by domestic violence incidents across Indiana. While she says she's still adding up last year's total, she says from January 2024 to October 31st, 74 people were killed as a result of domestic violence.
We know that those numbers are always underreported, and so it's always very, we kind of give them with a grain of salt.
And according to court documents, McDonald was about 4.5 months pregnant, something Baca was allegedly aware of before he killed her.
Unfortunately, we know that pregnancy actually increases risk for domestic violence and for death due to domestic violence. One of the leading causes of death for pregnant women is actually domestic violence and death due to an assault by their partner.
Burton also says another leading cause of death for those enduring domestic abuse is leaving. For those who know someone in a domestic violence situation, Burton says to be supportive of that person because feeling judged often leads that survivor to staying with their abuser. Reporting here in Indianapolis, Chase Howell, 13 News.
And this is an interesting story developing tonight. Several people with guns in this music video here, shot at an East Side gas station, now know their sentences for their part in a shooting which happened there the same night.
The video was posted on YouTube, and it helped police make an ID of the suspects in the case. Rich Nye has been following this story for nearly a year now.
And he was in the courtroom with his camera today when the woman facing the most serious charge took a plea deal.
22-year-old Trenisa Fennell pleaded guilty to unlawful possession of a firearm by a serious violent felon. There she is in the music video, which was shot last February at the Phillips 66 Crystal Flash gas station at 34th and Shadeland. That same night, police say 5 people were caught on surveillance video firing guns as they left the store. A bystander sitting in a van was shot in the shoulder. Fennell received 1 year in prison, plus 2 years home detention and 1 year probation.
Did you enter into this agreement freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
Did anyone force or threaten you to get you to plead guilty here today?
No, sir.
Did anyone make any promises to you that are not contained in the written plea agreement?
Nope.
Fennell smiled at a handful of family and friends in the gallery.
She is a good person. She's learned from this, and she will do better, and we're here to support her and help her on her journey on becoming and doing better.
In total, 4 adults were charged in this case. Fennell faced the most serious charge, but no one was actually charged for shooting someone. Also in the courtroom was 23-year-old DeJuan Jones. He accepted a plea deal for criminal recklessness and received a sentence of a half-year probation. Jones is the artist featured in the music video titled Keep Shooting.
DeJuan, would you want to tell me anything about today? Or?
No, I'm good.
Were you pleased with the outcome?
Yeah, it was cool, whatever.
Elijah Davis previously took a plea deal for criminal recklessness with a deadly weapon. He received a 4-day jail sentence, plus up to 40 hours of community service work. One more case is still pending. Nathaniel Thompson is charged with criminal recklessness and has a court date later this month. At the Marion County Community Justice Campus, Rich Nye, 13 News.
And all the guns seized in that investigation must be destroyed as called for in all the plea deals.
Leaders in Brown County right now are looking to make some money. And so to do that, they want to collect more money from the 2 million people who visit there every year.
There are a couple of proposals over at the State House that would bring in more dollars for local government. And as our Jenny Runovich explains, they'd mean higher rates at hotels and higher fees for the popular park.
First, the gate fee. Under the proposal, driving into Brown County State Park would cost $8 per car instead of $7. The extra dollar paying for local public safety. An estimated $250,000 a year to make sure crowds stay safe and first responders have the resources to do it.
We are set up for a population of under 16,000 for our public services. And then when the park fills up, say October, and we've got an additional 30,000 people in that park and all the other tourism that's going on, we are taxed to the max.
Gate fees at Brown County State Park currently go to the state, none for local police, firefighters, or EMS, yet they're the ones responding in emergencies like a fire or injured hiker.
You know, the mountain bikers, I couldn't tell you how many times that they wreck and we have to go, our officers go help the ambulance crew get them out.
And that's the beauty of this proposal, is that with a simple dollar increase to a carload of visitors, we will be able to provide that enhanced service and support those volunteer firefighters, etc.
Unlike the gate fee hike here at the park, some fear the innkeeper's tax increase is a little more complicated, and where that money would go, not as clear. The proposed increase to the innkeeper's tax from 5% to 8% would raise the room rate in Brown County by about $5 a night. That money, county leaders say, would go to quality of life improvements locally.
Parks, Pioneer Village in town, historic Pioneer Village, the log jail, our county fairgrounds, trail systems in town and the county.
I just hate the position it puts us in.
Barry Herring owns the Brown County Inn, says the increase would hurt him. He says the county already quadrupled the inn's real estate taxes.
You know, so I'm not second guessing the fact that, hey, they got to look for new sources of revenue. I just think that the innkeeper's tax is being a little bit misguided.
County leaders say both proposals will protect Brown County residents from higher property taxes, leaning on tourists for help instead. Jenny Runovich, 13 News.
Wow, what a game, coming right down to the wire tonight in Miami. Notre Dame, less than a minute ago, pulling off a huge postseason win. And tonight, 1,200 miles away from that game, fans are here celebrating big time in Indianapolis. That final, 27-24, the final. Logan Gay joins us live from a viewing party on the east side. And Logan, what has the vibe been like tonight? Lots of back and forth, and then right down to the final seconds.
And let me give you a taste of the vibe. Come on, guys. Come on, friends. Yes. Yes. This is the taste of the vibe. It has been great. You can hear the fight song playing right now. These fans are so proud love their team. We have been having a great time. You know, and one of my favorite things to do is explore hidden gems. And let me tell you, I think I found my new place. I don't even feel jealous anymore about not being in South Florida when I have friends like this. Everywhere you look, there's Notre Dame memorabilia. This pub is actually one of the oldest Irish pubs here in Indiana. So there's a lot of history here. But you know what? Let's get back to the game. You know, it has been a nail biter. It was intense, but the Irish and the Lions really battled it out. And as we saw, the Irish came out on top. You know, Irish fans were glued to the screen as they rooted on their favorite team. Many of them told me they couldn't be prouder of how their team performed tonight, and they just enjoyed doing it here, cheering their team on here with their friends and their family.
And they haven't won a national championship since '88. So we're hoping this is a time for them.
Yeah, I mean, to get this far, they've worked hard.
All right, guys. So if you follow me real quick, I want to show you a little piece of history over here. So we're going to step behind the counter, okay? So this radio right here is one of the original radios in this bar right here. This is how they used to listen to the Notre Dame games before they had TV. And now look at it now. Like I said, this bar has so much history. They are rooting for their team. And you know what's next is the CFP title game on January 20th. And guess what? We'll be right back here at this bar cheering on our team. And back to you.
All right, Logan Gay reporting from the Golden Ace Inn on the east side tonight. Who are they going to play? That's the next question. We'll find that out tomorrow. Meantime, Dom is in South Florida at the Orange Bowl. He is getting all the interviews. He's in the locker room. He's getting a full recap of the action tonight from the teams, the fans, and he'll bring it to you tomorrow here on Sunrise, and also put all the coverage up on streaming on WTHR Plus.
Okay, guys, if we're being honest, a lot of us avoid going to the doctor unless we absolutely have to. A study by the Cleveland Clinic found nearly 2/3 of men say they put it off as long as possible. The problem with that, of course, is that it can keep doctors from detecting issues early that might have been prevented in the first place, or could even save our lives. So that's why we're teaming up this year with Franciscan Health for a campaign called Real Men Wear Gowns. We're going to be highlighting some top concerns when it comes to men's health, hearing from the experts, and hopefully motivating you to put that medical gown on. Go see the doctor. Family medicine Dr. Omar Acevedo joins me now to talk about making health a priority. Dr. Acevedo, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks a lot for having me. I appreciate it.
So in your experience, why do so many men neglect their health? Why do we seem to put it off until we absolutely have to go?
Yeah, that's a good question. I feel it's like there's a cultural aspect around it. I think men, like, we're made to feel that if we don't feel bad, then why go to the doctor, right? The main issue, though, is that if we wait until we feel bad, sometimes there's some medical issues that when you're feeling bad, they can't be fixed. It's too late. You know, that's why it's important, as you're mentioning, you know, to see the doctor. You know, a lot of times it might be too late.
So I know that everybody's different, obviously, but if you could narrow it down to maybe 3 things men should do to make health a priority this year, what would those things be?
Okay, so 3 things, nice and simple, is diet, exercise, and make sure you see your doctor. So, so for diet, there's this kind of stigma around having to eat healthy. So if you eat sweets, it's like you're bad. You're doing really bad things for your health. So the main issue is that it's not like eating bad foods. It's how often you eat them. If you're making a habit out of eating them, you know, eating your favorite sweet every once in a while is okay. Eating them every day is very different. So that's something I can mention. Eat a lot of vegetables, especially green vegetables.
Okay.
Good.
And exercise. If I'm not exercising right now, say I'm not doing anything physical, what's a good starting place?
Okay, so a good starting place is to be more physically active. So if you're the kind of person that you're all day on the couch watching TV, stand up, do a few laps around the house. Move. Like, there's actually studies that say that people that are more physically active are less likely to have depression and memory issues such as dementia. Just physical activity. I'm not saying for you to have to walk, for miles at a time. Any physical activity is better than none.
Literally a few steps can help.
Yes.
Okay.
Literally, yeah.
Dr. Omar Acevedo, thank you so much from Franciscan Health. We've got much more of our extended conversation online. You can find it on our streaming app, WTHR Plus.
Tonight, we're also getting our first look at the redevelopment plans for the western portion of City Market. All of this is part of the mayor's effort to revitalize the city block. Our Marion County reporter Lauren Kostick tonight gives us a sneak peek of Phase 1 and the special way it celebrates the market's history.
Phase 1 is all about converting this section of City Market into a public plaza, hoping to not just be a gathering spot, but also a nod to the market's historical past. Just feet underground sits hidden history. Brick passageways and limestone columns known as the catacombs. A maze that once served as the foundation of Tomlinson Hall will now be uncovered for the first time.
With the help of Indiana Landmarks, we are committed to preserving the nearly 150 years of city history at this site.
On Wednesday, city leaders unveiled their plans for the west side of the block. It includes tearing down the platform building to make way for a new plaza that will incorporate the catacombs, creating levels visitors can walk through. Also, the Gold Building will be revamped from offices to apartments.
Really excited to unveil the first phase of this full block redevelopment in the heart of downtown Indianapolis, creating a public space for residents and visitors, and a really unique experience that downtown just doesn't currently have to offer.
The city is also working on upgrades for the rest of the block and also new designs for the market itself. As for the platform building, that is expected to be torn down early this year, with Phase 1 of construction wrapping up by the end of 2026. In Indianapolis, Lauren Kostick, 13 News.
In fact, we are just days away from a new era in professional sports here in Indiana. The Indy Ignite kicks off its first season of pro volleyball on Saturday, and joining me to talk about it is team president and general manager Mary Kay Hughes, marketing manager Kinsey Knuckles as well, who you may recognize. Kinsey's from Yorktown, played volleyball in high school and college as well, Nebraska, right?
Yes.
Big Ten. All right. So what does it feel like to finally be here days away from the first match?
It's an indescribable feeling for sure. We just came from the office and I got little tears in my eyes just talking through where we were at, and just we've been working on this for 12 straight months. Kinsey and I started in January, and just building the team from the ground up, the franchise, both on the game day and marketing and sponsorships and partnerships, but also building the team. And we're so excited about both sides of it, and really excited to share. I just got off the phone, and we're 33 tickets away from a sellout. So
that's awesome. Congratulations.
That's a lot of pride, a lot of excitement, a lot of pressure to deliver on Saturday, but we just couldn't be happier. And I think it's just a real testament to the grassroots community that is Indiana volleyball, and we are just Indiana is absolutely a volleyball state.
Yeah, well, Kinsey, let's talk about that. It seems like maybe 20 years ago, even 15 years ago, volleyball wasn't as popular as it has been the last 10 years or so. It's just kind of exploded, ignited, so to speak. To what do you attribute that? What do you think it was?
Yeah, absolutely. I think volleyball is an amazing sport that showcases female athleticism in the best way possible. And I think with that, it allows volleyball fans, yes, to enjoy the game, but also fans outside of volleyball and just sports fans in general. And I think that's why it's became a huge thing for Indiana itself, is because, as we all know, Indiana is a volleyball, but a sports state. So
yeah. I may be a little biased. My daughter plays club volleyball, but I've watched, the gyms in recent years really fill in with the crowd of people saying we really enjoy watching this sport. It's so much fun to watch. If people want to watch on Saturday, I know we're close to a sellout, but what do people need to know if they do want to watch one of these matches this season? You're at the Fishers Event Center, right?
We are at the Fishers Event Center, and first serve is at 7 p.m. on Saturday, but we're excited to say that everyone is welcome to our pregame party out front in the Forum Plaza. We're going to have a huge bonfire. It's a homecoming bonfire because it's our home, and our first time inviting everyone there. And while it will be cold, as we learned, we will have heated tents, a big fire, lots of people, and s'mores and a DJ. So we'd love first everyone to come out, whether you have a ticket or not, to our pregame bonfire. But then you can watch it online, on TV. There's going to be lots of opportunities to stream it if you are not available to, if you weren't able to get a ticket. But if you weren't able to get a ticket, our next home game is just a few days later on Thursday, January 16th.
All right, and we'll put all this information, we'll make it easy for you. We'll put it onto WTHR.com. Look for this interview and this story. We'll have the link to all the information there. Ladies, thank you so much for being here. Congratulations. Looking forward to a fun season ahead.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.